Cook County is one of the largest counties in the country, and it mostly comprises the city of Chicago, the third largest city in the country. And you would think with the resources available to a county that size that they would be easily able to avoid a digital transformation train wreck. Well, that wasn't the case. My name is Marcus Harris. I'm a software and technology attorney. For the last 20 years, I've drafted and negotiated a variety of technology-related contracts and litigated failed ERP projects in courts across the country. So in 2016, Cook County tried to implement ERP Fusion, and the project was supposed to be finalized in 2018. And after spending over $75 million, the project is still not complete to this day. The project was intended to automate HR, finance and procurement, accounting, and other county operations. So what went wrong? Well, I can guarantee you that it was not the technology, and it rarely ever is. In most cases, the technology works and it's proven. It's almost always the mismanagement of the implementation project, and the Cook County situation was no different. The county didn't have a real business case for implementing Oracle Fusion, and I think when you're implementing technology for the sake of implementing technology, you're really doing yourself a disservice, and you're almost always setting yourself up for failure. The county didn't properly blueprint the implementation. They didn't have an understanding of what their current state was and what their future state was going to look at. And if you don't do that, you don't have the ability to make reasoned decisions during the implementation of that software product. You don't have the ability to understand how you're going to get past functionality gaps. For example, there's a variety of ways to deal with gaps in functionality. You can implement alternative business processes. You can have workarounds. You can make customizations to the software. You can have configurations or modifications that address that functionality gap. But if you don't understand what your future state is going to look like, and you have not done the necessary due diligence, you're not in a position to make well-reasoned decisions. And that's exactly what happened in this scenario. I think that the county over-relied on heavily customizing the software to address gaps in functionality. And so by doing that, they introduced a level of technological complexity that really wasn't necessary. It required additional development and additional resources to deal with the customization. There was a higher upfront cost caused by the heavy reliance on the customizations. And I think the end result was that the heavily customized system really did extend the life cycle of that project, which still is not complete today. One of the other issues with the Cook County implementation was that there was a revolving door of leadership during the project. There were changes with the executives that were leading the project. The steering committee was a revolving door of different county employees. And I think the reality was that this led to internal misalignment. There was no longer a directed focus as to what the implementation was going to look like, what the modifications were supposed to address. And without this internal alignment, the county was setting itself up for failure. And then finally, they didn't invest in organizational change management. They seemed to be more focused on the technology than how they were going to adapt and use that technology in their environment. This failure of the Oracle Fusion project was coupled by the engagement of Tyler Technologies to automate the Cook County court system in 2017. The county spent $35 million with Tyler Technology, and the project was delayed by 18 months. And it was easily one of the worst IT projects that the county had ever embarked upon. And we've got the trifecta here. You've got Tyler Technologies again in 2015 trying to automate the county's property tax system. And what started out as a $75 million project ballooned into a $250 million project. The project was supposed to take 2 years, but a decade later, that project is still not complete. There's been a massive overrun of the budget, and it impacts citizens on a daily basis. And as a resident of Cook County, I have lived this and I have experienced this. There was a $200 million delayed tax payment. There was a $50 million delay in processing tax refunds. So it's not just a failure of the county and a failure of the process and a failure to implement that technology effectively. It's really a failure to the taxpayers and the government users that need to rely on the county to do the things that a government is supposed to do. So what lessons can you learn from the Cook County failure? And I think really you've got to have a business case for the software. You've got to have an understanding of why you're utilizing this software at all. Make sure that it's solving a problem within your business. You want to make sure that you invest heavily in change management. You want to make sure that you're not just chasing shiny objects for the sake of shiny objects. You've got to really have a due diligence associated with the selection of that software. You've got to make sure that you understand how you're going to address gaps in functionality, and you want to minimize the level of customization that you make to the overall software product during the implementation process. If you got any questions about any of the issues in this video, please feel free to reach out to me at taftlaw.com. I'd love to talk to you and set you in the right direction.